I need to clear up my phone. Anyways, I'm going to get things wrong. Everyone's going to get things wrong. Paul says we love in part, we prophesy in part, but when love is here, you know what that verse is. 1 Corinthians 13, 9 through 12. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away with. I'm going to get things wrong. It's important to me that you pray to God when you feel I'm doing something wrong or incomplete. It might not be part of my gift set to attend to. It is probably yours if you find it compelling and meaning to, and you feel that it ought to be fixed by society. It might be your problem to attend, your calling to attend, your gift set to work through. And if you don't have the powers, talk to God. Maybe he can get them to you. Maybe you can get the gift of healing if you want to heal, or prophecy if you want to lead, or someone to confirm your gift set to be a leader. We need a lot of leaders. And I feel like society has told us not to be leaders. I was told not to be a leader. I was told I don't know, or I don't have the education, or, a number of things. And then it turned out I'm good at being a leader. I like being a leader. And I have the humbleness to do all the jobs of being a leader. Like I told someone, I said, I'm a shit shoveler. I don't mind it. There's a pony in here somewhere. So yeah, when I say things that are going to enrage you, and I will, pray to God first. Maybe I'm really saying something different, or I'm talking about something different altogether, or maybe there's something you don't know, or maybe it's not important. If I go to a starving nation, I'm going to worry about them getting food before I worry about them getting Jesus, and I might say food's more important than Jesus, when what I'm doing is quoting a Bible verse that says, don't witness to someone who is hungry, feed them first. Anyway, love you guys. Sorry for all the cuts. It's my first day off, getting back into the swing of things. Okay, so the Bible verse I wanted to get for y'all. America's kind of having this weird war where we're fighting between being Rome and being the kingdom of heaven, being kind of like Christland, where everything is wonderful and there is justice and liberty for all. And so I think there's a Bible verse that is meaningful to us in this era, and that's Romans, right? Because it was one of Paul's letter to Romans, or to the Romans, and what is it? Romans 12:16. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud. Instead, associate with the humble. Do not be wise in your own estimation. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Give careful thought to what you do. Give careful thought to do what is honorable in everyone's eyes. If possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Friends, do not avenge yourselves. And that was interesting that I thought of this verse, and then I see avenge come up as we have Julie Green's Avenger Assemble call. Do not avenge yourselves. Instead, leave room for God's wrath, because it is written, vengeance belongs to me. I will repay, says the Lord. But If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For in doing, you will be heaping fiery coals on his head. Do not be conquered by evil, but conquer evil with good. And that doesn't mean we just like let evil get away with it, but we're going to do what is good. And oftentimes showing mercy to your enemies is a good way to kind of chill out the situation. Because when things go to conflict, when things go to guns and swords, you know, there is death and sorrow. But I remember there was one time, there was someone when I was at college in Austin, and he was really hostile. I've told this story in earlier videos. He was just really hostile and always being really intense if I was joking around with anyone else at like the school table where we kind of waited between classes. And so one day we went to a pizza place next door. I was like, hey, we're gonna go to a pizza place and study and just keep hanging out. Like, you wanna come? And he's like, sure. And so he came, and there were 6 of us, and I get up and I go, hey, I'm gonna get some pizza. Do you want anything? And he's like, I don't have any money. And he had this real hard sorrow that turned hard and made all his emotions real intense. And I said, that's all right, I got you. And he looked at me, and it was like he was just drinking in the sun. He was like, are you being sarcastic? And I was like, no, I got you, what you want? And he's like, oh. And he like said what he wanted. And I was like, all right, what do you want to drink? And he goes, I don't have any money, man. And I was like, I know, I got you, what you want? And he said so, and I got him some pizza. It was all you can eat and all the soda you wanted for like $11.50, which to him was probably a lot. To me at the time, it wasn't. And then I think 2 weeks later, the same thing happened. I got you. And then from that, he was like a completely changed person. So I won a war with someone that was kind of my enemy just for showing some kindness. We're having a big conflict in America right now, and maybe your nation too. But the 2 things we need to do is 1, be smart, be wise, and then work together. But 2 is we all need to chase Christ's image of authenticity, because it's from there we can shape the universe into the ways we want. And whether you're liberal or conservative, heaven has answers for everything. Heaven has answers to make everything better, no matter how much. So here's a good example. My roommate wants medicine to be free. I do not, because the medical industry will charge the government, which means they're charging us a ton of money. I heard insulin costs $300 a vial right now. An EpiPen costs $700. And this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Whereas if you remove the governmental permissions that the medical industry has to allow it to be kind of like a monopoly, it's called an oligopoly. It's like a monopoly, but many players instead of one. Then we can have competition, and then just like how our food is really cheap, if you go to a Price Club or a Sam's Club, we don't have Price Clubs anymore, Costco or Sam's Club, medicine can become really cheap too. And it should be really cheap. But that's a good example. I don't want free medicine, but I think a bottle of insulin should cost $1. And everyone can agree, that's reasonable. And that's how I want, that's one of my solutions. I believe it was Dr. Milton Friedman, who won the Nobel Prize in economics. He said, in 1903, the tax rate was so low in America that we had a lot of free hospitals. And, that would make sense. A church or community would pay a couple doctors, and the doctors would visit everyone. Like, that sounds great. Anyways, I should probably learn to stay on topic.